Good morning and welcome to the B.F. Anderson Market Report. We're making some changes this week and we really would appreciate any feedback on what we're doing here. I know everyone's time is critical and you don't have a lot of time to review your portfolio, but I think you should. And I've come up with reports that I think you can review very quickly. The market report, in fact, we call it the 10-second report. You can actually review this report in under 10 seconds. But let's just talk about it and see what we're trying to get across here. Now, this report will replace the Friday technical report, so we're just going to go with this on Thursdays. Now, what we've got here, first of all, at the top of the report is a monthly graph showing the 10-month moving average versus the 20-month moving average. Now, I got this idea from Louise Yamada, who's a top technical analyst and very well respected, been around a good long time. And she's very big on the concept of looking at monthly charts versus daily charts. I agree with her wholly. Now, what she looks for are what you call death crosses, like here, also back here in 2000. She looks for death crosses. And we would also look for what we call golden crosses, which we're on right now. We are on a buy signal, which is bullish, for what we call the S&P 500 1020. Now, as we move down the graph, or the report, you'll see here that we have three speedometers. The first speedometer is the hit ratio. Now, what that is an idea that I got from Peter Lynch. He wrote about it in his book, One Up on Wall Street. And the general idea is that he is of the opinion that if you are in a bear market, it is impossible to maintain a hit ratio north of 50%. Well, fortunately, right now, we have a hit ratio of 100%, which means that every stock in the portfolio is profitable. Now, another comment that I have down here that I'm going to do on a weekly basis is to state the amount of turnover during the week. In other words, buying and selling. We really don't care for turnover. Turnover frustrates a lot of people. They don't understand it. But sometimes it's a reality that we have to deal with. And as you go through earnings season, and if you're in a company that the earnings are not being met, you really do have to take direct action and sell the position out. So fortunately right now, this week, our turnover has been zero. So that's a good sign. So what you want here is you want to have as high of a hit ratio as possible. If it gets below 50%, well, you need to be more cautious. Now, under the second speedometer, which we call trend following, which is where we look at a group of indexes to determine what we think the overall trend of the market is and where the strength really is. And this can go on a scale of 10% to 100%. Of course, you always want to see it above 50%. The current situation that we're in right now, of all the indexes we're looking at, the NASDAQ continues to be the strongest. Now, the sentiment is a reading that we get from CNN where they measure using a mathematical model fear versus greed. Now, the hardest thing about investing is that you should be most aggressive in investing when there's lots of fear, when there's blood in the streets. And you should be cautious when there's a lot of greed. Back in 2000, for example, I can remember people telling me that the market would never go down again and that it was a permanent bull. Well, when you start to hear that kind of stuff and you see this reading getting over here, probably a good time to be thinking about being more defensive. Now, one of the most important parts of the report is what we call the watch list. Now, I must emphasize, this is a watch list. This is not a buy list. What we're trying to do here is determine which sectors and which companies within those sectors are the strongest. So what happens is we use a filter of about 10,000 stocks. Once we run the initial filter, we'll get it down to about 100 stocks. And I'm being approximate here. I mean, it changes every week. But the idea here is then I'll take my database of 100 stocks and I'll say, okay, which ones are showing the most strength and which are the top 5? So what that does for us is it says, okay, well, here's Lam Research, which is semiconductors. We're also seeing Western Digital, which is computer hardware. We're seeing Tesla, which is technology. We're seeing Micron Tech, which is semiconductors, and we're seeing Arista Networks, which is also technology. What it's telling you, the strongest sector of the market is technology. So the purpose of the watch list is to try to get us more focused on the strongest parts of the market. Now, the tech rating is basically a very simple calculation that I do on each one of these companies. A scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. When we start seeing where we can't get 5s, well, that's just a reason for caution and so forth. So far, though, everything looks pretty good. So if you have any questions about the report, and we'll be doing this on a weekly basis, it'll be the BF Anderson Market Report. Let me know your comments and your questions. Thank you.